Danville City Commission regular meeting. Today is Monday, August the 14th, 2023. The time is 5:30 p.m. and we welcome you all to our meeting. We're going to be led this afternoon by Commissioner Carter with a brief prayer, and then the mayor is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So, Commissioner Carter.
Thank you, Mayor. Lord of all, again, we thank you for allowing us to gather here in freedom. We would ask that you guide us to make decisions that are pleasing to you, and then we conduct ourselves in a way that you would condone, and be with those who are ill or currently grieving, and protect those who are protecting us overseas. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, sir. If you all would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Commissioners, you've had the agenda since last Friday. I'd like to get a motion to approve the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you all. All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? At this stage of our agenda is where we offer the public the first time to speak to the commission, and you may be recognized. You may take 3 minutes or less at the podium. And at this time in our agenda, in our meeting, you're only allowed to talk about items that are on the agenda. Okay? So is there anyone here, the public? Yes, sir. Oh, wait, hold. You guys are on number one on our agenda. Yes, you're not up yet.
Oh, we're not up yet?
No, you're not up yet.
Oh, okay.
No, this is for somebody who wants to talk about in favor of or against or whatever about something that's on the agenda. But you want to speak against or for you? No, just okay. Anyone present who'd like to speak to the agenda, speak to the commission about items that are on the agenda? Seeing none and hearing none, then we'll move right along. Thank you all. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Weathers, item number one is the TEDx event presentation. So usually we have about 15 people during that time period, Steve, but we didn't have anybody today.
Oh, fantastic.
Just joking.
Came on the right evening.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and our city council. Thank you so much. I'm Larry Weathers. That's my wife, Ebony Weathers. And I'm here to talk briefly about a wonderful opportunity that has come and is coming to Danville. We've been given the wonderful privilege through my company, Weathers Agency, to acquire a license to hold a TEDx event here. I'm sure all of us are familiar with TED Talks. TEDx is a branch of the TED Talks that allows individuals in local communities to be able to host their own talk. And so I'm excited because this is the first ever for Danville and the first ever license that's been given to Danville. And inside your packet, I prepared just a quick one sheet. I'm not going through all of this of what TEDx is, but the point of TED is to bring ideas worth sharing. That's a range from music, science, technology, but it's meant to be from those that are experts in their field. They want to make sure that at events like this, we don't have people throwing out a lot of hypotheses and theories that haven't been founded, but that we will be able to have experts. And so that's the point of these talks. They're very short in nature. Each talk is not to be over 18 minutes. We actually will be restricting our talks to 10 minutes each person so that we can get as many speakers as possible that evening. It will be taking place at Danville High, Gravely Hall, and we're excited about that. Local benefits, of course, global notice that comes to our town. I already have an interview secured with WKYT on September the 18th at 10:30, and so they're going to be interviewing me about this event. And then we have 2 other stations that are in the wings, and hopefully we'll get them approved soon. And then the prestige of the TED community. The TED community is global. It's a very recognized, very prestigious community. And as a result of us hosting it here, we're already on the main TED site. So if anyone goes in to look at TEDx events that are happening, Danville, Kentucky is going to show up. The guidelines, which I put here because this is noteworthy, no speaker can receive any honorarium. That is a TED directive, so there will be no money paid to speakers. They understand they bear the entire cost of their travel, lodging, and food. Some speakers will be from Danville, and some will be from around the world. We've advertised for speakers for 30 days. We've had about 115 people apply, literally from around the world. And it's been exciting to see the kind of activity that's happening around this already. Our main budget item, and that's one of the two reasons I'm here. Number one, just to make you aware of this, and certainly would love to have all of you present if possible, and Mayor, definitely you to speak, and our team will reach out to your team to coordinate that if possible. But the main budget items, the website creation, which is the central part of this, because without a great website, individuals can't find out the information they need. Also, if the website is done well, it's a huge attraction for individuals to even connect with us because we seem to be legitimate and a place worth being. So my agency, we underwrote the cost for that, which is $4,000. The venue, which is $375, that will be at Danville High. We'll be taking care of that as well. The website's been up now for 4 months. And so it is active and it has availability for people to sign up as volunteers, speakers, or if they just want to be a sponsor on a lower end themselves. Here's where you come into the picture. Is as I look at the VIP reception we will have for all dignitaries and guest speakers, we want to have something, even though we're not paying them, we want them to know we appreciate them coming, and we want a really nice reception for them. Professional audio and videography services, pretty standard for an event like this. TED gives stipulations on what has to be recorded and how. It must be 3 cameras. That usually requires 3 operators. So you're looking at a cost from $7,000 to $9,000 to do this. And then also not only to create the raw footage, but B-roll highlights afterwards that we will submit to TED so that they can put this on the main TED YouTube channel, which is huge, because if we're able to do that, then we'll instantly have millions of views that are coming to our videos we produce right here in Danville. And then lastly, the TEDx 3D letters that'll go across the stage. It'll be TEDx Danville, big, huge letters going the length of the stage there at Danville High. The cost for that, the quotes we received between $3,000 and $4,000. And so my appeal to you today, I know after hearing this, I know exactly you guys are going to want to be involved and be a sponsor. I'm not worried about that piece. But to see if you would like to be a sponsor, we certainly would welcome you and thank you. You are the first entity I have approached about this as a major sponsor, and we would love to have the partnership of Danville behind us. I believe this is something that will be a great mark for us. No matter what happens, we're going to do it. We're going to pull it off. But I would love to have on all of our branding, all of our marketing, I would love to have the city of Danville as one of our main sponsors. Any questions?
Any questions from the commission?
October the 27th. It's on the second page. It's there at the top, 7 to 9 p.m. Friday night. Yes.
You said you're limiting the speakers to 10 minutes there.
Yes, sir. The TED limits all talks to 18 minutes. They can be no longer than 18 minutes. They can be as short as 3 minutes. So we're doing 10 minutes so that we can fit in at least about 10 to 12 speakers. We'll have entertainment in between. We're securing that as well so that it's just a fun night. And we're also going to do something different that hasn't been done at a lot of TED Talks is we're going to look at elementary school kids and high school kids, and we're going to pick 2 according to what the principals will say, and I've talked to 2 of those, and have them actually present. So we're going to give an opportunity for an elementary school and a high school student to be able to say they did a TED Talk on the red carpet.
I'm certainly a fan of TED Talks, so this is exciting. Now, how much is the sponsorship? I was confused.
The sponsorship this is the budget amount that we have, so whatever amount you all would like to give toward that or cover all of it, I am open to that, and I can take a check today. Or send you an invoice or.
And we always ask, have you asked the county?
I have not. I've
Okay.
approached you first. I
thank
approached the city first, and so that you could have first dibs at this and would love to have you as our first sponsor. And we actually would run probably about 2 weeks before we ask anyone else if you all do accept this. We would run all of our marketing advertising to show that you were the first sponsor, and we'd do that for 2 weeks before. We'd run that 2 weeks before we started marketing advertising to anyone else.
Do you have to know tonight? I mean, since we just got this, could we have an answer at the next meeting and ask, about the budget and,
Absolutely.
So that we could ask? I mean, we're just seeing this right now.
Absolutely. Whatever is most convenient for you. That's not a problem for me.
And I
They
think
may
if
have
you,
a-
if we put it out there, if we use your figures, and use the top of the budget items, you're still looking for $15,000 in this sense.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, he didn't want to say that out loud, did he?
No, I was waiting you to finish. I thought you said
Okay.
something else. Yeah.
No, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage multiple sponsorships, and also, I don't know if you've talked to Kendall Clinton at the CVB, because he had some grants for first-time advertising.
Okay.
For things that have never been done, I believe. It was very
Absolutely.
specific. So he'd be a
Absolutely.
good resource to also.
Yes, he is on my list, and several other around town are on my list. I just stopped here first.
Okay, thank you. Very exciting.
And also on the website, we do have opportunities for the general public as well, that they can be sponsors at the $1,000 level, $500 level, $250 level. That's already on the website, and all they have to do is click, and they can make their donations there.
Okay.
I guess since the city manager is not with us tonight, we don't try to give any feedback, but Ms. Mel, could I refer them to you to give, that you be our direct contact to receive other stuff, you and Ashley, about this proposal? And then ask you to go to their website and check it out and see if there's a way to link it with what we're doing with our website, our community-wide linkage and all that kind of stuff, okay? So it's really, it's a one-day event with multiple opportunities to participate, and then this will be replayed and aired in time somebody wants to go to a TED Talk and they
Yeah,
I hope we get yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
And the goal is the success of this, which is going to be highly successful. The goal is to literally create a TEDx Danville Foundation. And that way we would be able to host them as many times as we want. We can get multiple licenses, and then we could even take it to other cities in Kentucky, but still we would brand it TEDx Danville. So that's the long-term vision for this.
Okay.
Do you know Melanie? Have you met
Yes,
our,
yes,
our boss?
absolutely.
Well, it's all about communications and PR, so. Any other questions from the,
No, I like it. I appreciate the work you've done so far.
My last comment, would any of you like to be a TEDx speaker? If so, let me know. If you give me a check. Thank you so much. I
hey,
appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for the work that you've already done. Sounds good.
Commissioner Cottle is an expert on many things.
Who's that?
Commissioner Cottle is an expert on many
I am a
things, so.
self-prescribed expert on any number of things.
City Attorney?
Mayor, just in the absence of the city manager, we may, just as a matter of note, place this on the agenda for discussion at the next meeting to allow maybe Melanie and Ashley to speak with city manager on potential sources in the budget and potentially other community resources. So if that could be on the next meeting agenda, you can have a more comprehensive answer for Mr. Weathers.
Sounds good. Any other comments?
I wonder, Lee's over there trying to
Right.
figure where to put that right now, aren't you?
I've got a few ideas.
Okay, good.
Good.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, let's move on then. The next item on the agenda is Constitution Square Festival update and the banner for the Constitution Square Festival. I don't see Jeff Jewell though, do
I was just informed he's under the weather, so he will not be here, but
Oh, okay.
he was going to talk about the festival that is September 16th, the Run for the Arts that is September 17th, and that registration for those events are online. Melanie, is that correct? Okay. And
And
then they just want to hang the banner for the 3 weeks leading up to the event in front of City Hall.
I? Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for that update. And we'll need to entertain a motion to approve the banner request. So, commissioners, what's your
I'll make a
pleasure?
motion To approve the banner request as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
And I assume that means the banner request will be approved by staff. Or has it already been approved by staff? Okay, good. Okay, any other comments or questions about the banner request? Hearing none, then all those in favor of approving the banner for Constitution Square Festival, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. And then, Commissioner Cottle, we signed you up last week for September the 17th. It's at 5 o'clock, 4:30? The 5K, 10K run.
Did you?
You were the first one to get registered this year.
I'm gonna call Uber and, yeah, I'll take that on.
That could be the source of your TED Talk, how to complete a 5K race with absolutely no training.
And no effort.
I say, while using an Uber, right? Okay, thank you all for that update. Okay, next item is approval of the minutes for the previous meetings. So the chair would like to entertain a motion to approve our minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 7:24 regular meeting and 8:4 special called meeting as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. There's a second?
Second.
Oh, okay. All right, any corrections, questions, additions, or deletions? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving both sets of minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you all. Motion carries. Next item is municipal order 08-1401, 2023. Mr. Parsons, you're here to talk to us about that, okay?
Mayor and members of the Board of Commissioners, previously the city authorized an inducement resolution agreeing to issue the industrial revenue bonds for the Team Leader project. Actually, in addition to that, the city, county, and school district have all three signed off on an amended and restated agreement in lieu of taxes to pay some amount in taxes in lieu of taxes for the project during the term of the bonds. In addition to that, we've gone through the process. There is a state hearing required. We've gone through that particular process, and that's all been approved. I should have said I'm James Parsons. I'm with Keating, Muthy, and Cleecamp. I'm your special counsel on this particular issue tonight. I apologize for that. At the present time, we're ready to move forward with the actual issuance of the bonds for the particular project in mind. Again, just as a reminder, these bonds are not the debt of the city. They're simply the debt of the project, and the city has actually no responsibility for the payment of the bonds. The bonds are being issued specifically to provide some limited property tax incentive to help develop the project and things. The bonds are issued in the maximum amount of $40 million, which is the estimated capital investment of the project. In addition, they're going to be issued in two different series. The Series A bond in the maximum amount of $33 million, and the Series B bond, which would be a maximum amount of $7 million. Basically, the Series B bonds will be supported by the pilot revenues that will be generated, and that's why we did the amended and restated agreement in lieu of taxes a few months ago to set this up so this structure can be utilized for the project. Again, these bonds are very commonly used across the state as a way to provide an incentive to promote development. They're not the debt of the city, and they're total responsibility of Team Leader. After assuming the board approves the order tonight, then we'll be finalizing the final bond documents, and I'll be getting with the city attorney to go over those, and at some point getting with the mayor to sign all the bond documents. I'm glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
Well, for the sake of the citizens, this is the area across from Kroger, correct?
I'm not sure.
Yes, in the absence of the city manager, I'll fill in just a bit.
Yes, sir.
This is the acreage that is adjacent to what we would say Lowe's, the Lowe's property. It's on that side of the bypass and continues down to the area that's owned by an adjoining neighbor where the Bull County Fair was this year. So it's that parcel of land that we're talking about on the bypass. So loosely across from Kroger, yes, adjacent to Lowe's. And I should know, this is a rather moment of significance for the city in that we have not participated in an economic development project through the issuance of these types of bonds in the past, but one, frankly, that the city hopes to do again in the future, as it is a critical tool to show that your community is open for business, and to assist large-scale development in this way is not to be glossed over at this point. This is a significant achievement for the city to be involved, and says that we're open for business, but also the collaboration with local school districts and the developer are significant for the community to say that economic development is vibrant here, and as the city continues to look for new tools. So I'll say that. I know Earl would be saying that if he were here. And so if you have any other questions as far as that's concerned, we can answer them. But Mr. Parsons, of course, is the expert in this matter for the city to proceed.
You did a pretty good job. You almost sounded like Earl.
Is that supposed to be a compliment or no?
You didn't take long enough. You're not nearly long enough.
Well, you're right. On a serious note, this is very important to us. And
agree.
talk about signing for $40 million with the city having no financial obligation, that's definitely a first. Yeah.
And the last thing is, what this allows a developer to do is it incentivizes development of land now as opposed to waiting till future capital is gained. And so the benefit to the city is it's developed sooner, which means that you can obviously start receiving your wage assessments or payroll taxes through an occupational licenses now, as opposed to waiting till future capital is gained. So it's significant, particularly on properties that need a lot of capital investment like this particular piece does.
The bonds we're talking about only impacts real estate taxes. It does not impact the tangible tax that will be generated from the project. It does not impact occupational taxes. If you have an insurance premium tax in effect, that does not affect that. So this, the only thing we're talking about are the real estate, the portion of the real estate tax.
It all sounds good.
It does. Thank you.
Need to carry the motion? Do we have a motion? We don't have a motion, right?
Let's see, this is I'll move for approval of municipal order 0814012023.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions and readiness? Hearing none, all those in favor of passage, say aye.
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 Those opposed, thank you all.
Thanks very much.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you for
Thank you.
coming tonight, Mr. Parsons. Thank you.
Could I ask the attorney a question? Or just, this
Which one?
project,
Me.
the bonds haven't passed yet, but there's a lot of dirt moving already.
Right.
So I guess
Sure.
they're preparing to start.
Preparing to start development?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I believe they're chomping at the bit as far
Okay.
as that is concerned.
They're getting close to closing on their financing. The fact that you adopted the inducement resolution several months ago or more allows them to start with the idea that they'll recover it. And there's one part of the project we originally was going to be part of the bond structure. I don't know if I can announce that or not publicly, but.
I believe that deed has been recorded,
Okay.
so I believe you can.
So I think there is a Chick-fil-A that's not going to be under the bond structure, so that project may have already started.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for explaining.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item is Resolution 2023-08-1401, IT surplus. Ms. Rader?
Thank you, Mayor. In your packet, you have a list of items that IT has that they were asking you to declare surplus so that they can list it on GovDeals for sale.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve Resolution 2023-08-1401.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
I will second.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions or comments?
I always like to see what's on the list. Kind of fun. It's like looking at the Sears catalog, only not nearly as cool.
No pictures, right?
Yeah.
Everything's black and white. Okay. All those in favor of passage, say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, and this is the second Hear the Public in our agenda. This is where citizens can approaches, once being recognized, can speak for 3 minutes or less on an issue of concern. Identify yourselves, and it's customary for the commission to not try to answer or address the issue raised tonight. Mr. Dunn, I'm going to recognize you first because you've been waiting very patiently for about a couple of weeks now. So, Mr. Dunn?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilman, council people, commissioners. I'm here, my name is Wilbur Dunn. I'm a resident of Danville. I have been for a long time. I'm here on behalf of my daughter, Portia Dunn. She lives at 230 Randolph Hill here in Danville, right off of 2nd Street. And I'm here to basically read a letter she's penned, and then I'm open for any questions after that. I might add that I do have some pictures on a thumb drive, also on my phone, some videos, and I can make those available if need be. I'm gonna read this letter if it's okay with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Portia Dunn. I am a mother of 3 boys ranging in age from 2 years old to 18 years old. We love nature as well as our morning people, but these past few months, we have been unable to enjoy the comfort of our own backyard due to a bird issue. I have lived at a residence since 2019 and haven't had any concerns until now with animals around my property. What started out as 5 to 10 birds has turned into a consistent group of 30+ birds every morning on my roof, in my backyard, along my fence line, and it's getting worse and worse. So these birds, which I believe to be either buzzards or ravens, which I think they're buzzards, are coming to my roof at sunrise between the hours of 6:30, 6:45, or a little after, waking us up every morning. There are so many birds that from the inside of my home, it sounds like soldiers literally marching on my roof. They are roughly the size of my 2-year-old, and when they spread their wings, it causes such fear that they would carry my young son off. What started off as birds on my roof turned into them pecking and eating away at my pavilion that was purchased less than 2 years ago. The canopy on the pavilion and the netting. They turned to eating away the foam on a brand new trampoline that's less than 5 months old, as well as the paper tags on the trampoline. They have also completely torn up my younger son, the 2-year-old's trampoline. He's got a mini trampoline. Ripping away the foam off the posts, shredding the netting, eating away the matting around the trampoline where he can't jump on it. Because when he tried to, she says, goes on to say, when he jumped on it, where he ended up hitting his head, so she's planning on throwing it away. She says that she can't leave items in her backyard because they eat up all the toys, the balls, which all her kids are real athletic and they play sports, or except for the 2-year-old. He wants to. And now they are even trying to eat away at the gutters and the roofing on my house. Although I have spent my hard-earned money earned from working at Tolliver Intermediate to provide fun things for my children to have in the backyard, and do not have the money to refurbish those items or fix my shingles and gutter. What is most concerning is the safety of my kids. We are up and early every morning, whether it's just to have breakfast on the porch or get up and go to work or school. I am afraid that one of those birds will hurt my children. We couldn't camp in the backyard as I planned for my middle son's July birthday, in fear that the birds would peck away at the tents in the early hours. We can't leave items out in the backyard, and it also concerned that nobody has led me to any source of help. She goes on to say that she's called the Kentucky Wildlife, Pest Control, spoke to a couple of police officers. She's called the Humane Society, and everyone seems to direct her towards someone else, and then offers their apologies or, condolences. She goes on to say, with that said, sorries will not protect my child. I have been told I can't shoot the birds because they are protected, but nobody has asked about any damages or even came to see what kind of birds they really are. They are located in the projects, which is the Johnny Woods, along the trail most times and flying in the vicinity. They're on Duncan Hill over houses as well as businesses on 2nd Street surrounding me. Due to the fact that nobody has come to identify these birds, I have limited information on them and do not know if they are carrying diseases or how to begin getting rid of them. We have purchased a raven decoy, thrown rocks, used a water hose, made loud noises, and nothing works. I'm asking for someone to take the next step and help me with this matter before someone gets hurt at my residence. I am scared to come outside, and my youngest son is too. With all that said, I personally have been in communication with the mayor, and I've forwarded him some pictures, maybe a couple of videos, but since then I've gotten more pictures and more video. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Well, thank you for that presentation, and you have been communicating with us, and I've forwarded stuff on, I think, to the commissioners as well as to staff. And I can't repeat the comment that you made to me about my presence when I showed up down there. A little while, didn't it? But yeah. It is serious, and we are concerned about it. And I want to direct you to Josh Morgan because he had a little conversation with you, but you and he need to get together and have a little more conversation, and then we'll direct Josh to come get me one morning about 6 o'clock, and we'll come down and
6:30.
6:30, 6 o'clock, see what's going on.
See the scout bird.
Well, it is serious, right? And your documentation has been excellent, so I want to thank you for that. Commissioners, you all have any questions or comments? It's not the Dunn and Atkins concern; it's a community concern. But
Yes.
he's been hitting me up. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
hopeful
gonna.
that Josh has-
So, the mayor sent me the pictures, and I did a little research. I think they're black vultures, from what I can tell. So I did some more research about what could be done to get rid of them, and it's loud noises and different things, but nothing seems to be extremely effective. So I reached out to. They're a nuisance also for small livestock. So I reached out to the extension office to see if it's something that farmers have come up with a good way to get rid of them if they're a nuisance to them. So they've directed me to. I got copied on an email Friday to their wildlife specialist out of Lexington. So hopefully I get some info from their wildlife specialists of ways to get rid of them. So I'm going to keep tracking that down and make sure we figure out a way to run them off, and not something you have to do every day. I mean, hopefully there's a good way we can move them out for good.
Yeah.
But I know this is something we've had them down at the salt barn the last couple of summers. I mean, I don't know if it's a summertime thing. It kind of feels like it's a summertime thing, but they've been at the salt barn a couple of years whenever I've been down that trail and back in that area. So they do roost, and up to 100 apparently. Up to 100 birds will roost together at one time. So it's definitely it's a big problem. It's an intimidating problem is the word I used earlier. So we'll keep working on it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I remember in the past, we had an eradication, when Tom Roach was here, there was this eradication system or something that the city paid it annually, and then, I don't know, it was loud sounds or something, so maybe you can look at that. It was a bird eradication when we had blackbirds, wasn't it?
From what I remember, those birds were roosting in the trees
Right.
downtown.
And
And
so
I don't remember what they did to abate them, but
They did.
there was a process.
You'd like to hear about that, wouldn't you?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's.
I know it
let's-
was through the
let's-
state,
Let's move,
so-
let's move right along. Mr. Dunn, I've directed you to talk to Josh Morgan. He's stepping in since our city manager's having some problems. But tell your daughter that we heard her letter, your plea, and that the city has got to stay on top of this because this is going to spread if we don't. Okay? So we'll
Thank
do
you.
that. And I'll come back again, and see if I run them off again, but we'll see, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Okay, at this point in our agenda, it's I'm sorry, Mr. Hunt, I'm sorry. Anyone else wants to speak to the commission? I'm sorry, Mr. Hunt.
Birds have always been a problem with the devil.
Yeah.
Oh,
Even back in the 60s, they used to roost on all that end of town all the time.
Okay,
'Cause I lived on 4th Street. And
okay.
back over where, behind the Parks Place, it was more than 100, probably thousands back in them days. I just got one question.
Yes, sir.
I know the question I'm gonna ask y'all probably can't say much, but we would like to know how Earl is doing. I know HIPAA won't let you say very much, but, you know, we'd like to.
Well, let me take, I'll take the lead on that, and please understand, you just said that, the right word. My statement to the community is that Earl is recuperating. He's had a smile on his face, and I don't know if he ever lost his appetite, but his appetite's back, so that's about as good as I can give it to you, okay? But thanks for asking, Mr. Hunt. Yeah. I appreciate that. Anyone else wants to speak to the commission? I've been waiting on Mr. Dunn. I got excited about asking other folks. Okay, no one else, so that's good. Okay, commissioner comments? Any commissioner comments?
I would just like to make one. I know that the people that are working on the Veterans Park out there, Jack and some others have asked for, if anybody would like to go help pull weeds around the rose bushes, they're asking for help. If there's anybody out there that just wants to do that for the Veterans Park.
Anyone else? Soul on Second Street Festival?
Yeah, that was great.
Turned out to be great weather and great entertainment and great crowd. And we encouraged all of them to spend a little money while they was in Danville, and I think most of them did. Good job to the Danville Boyle County African American Historical Society and all those sponsors for the work that they did on that festival. Okay, any other commissioner comments?
Well, just the reminder that next Thursday on the 24th is the comprehensive plan kickoff at the showroom at 6. Did I say the 24th? Yeah, I did. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else?
Our family decided to take a trip on the Bluegrass Ride. And if you guys haven't had a chance to go on the Bluegrass Ride yet, the free transportation in Danville, there were like several families that actually had children that had no transportation, and they were using it to get to doctor's appointments before school starts. There were some seniors. There was even a group of 14-year-olds, I think, or teenagers that wanted to actually take bikes somewhere. There's 2 bike racks.
Yeah.
And they went to eat. So anyway, it's a free service starting at downtown, so I encourage you to check it out or share with somebody that might not have transportation. Thank you.
Good idea.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Key word is that the transportation, the rides are all free. So, good job. Anyone else? Commissioner comments? All right, the next item on the agenda is the payment of the bills. What's your pleasure on paying the bills that have been presented by staff? Is there a
We're not gonna
motion?
do them. We're not gonna pay them.
Not gonna pay them, all right.
I'll
Ms.
make a
Compton?
motion to approve the bills as presented in the amount of $1,829,595.89.
Thank you,
I'll
ma'am.
second.
Thank you, ma'am. Questions or comments?
I just had one. I just want to make sure on the Community Arts Center, it says reimbursement for insurance for the roof. Was that an insurance payment to them?
Yes, so that was for the roof damage they had in one of
Okay.
the severe windstorms. So essentially, we get the funds from our insurance, and then we just remit it right back to them. So you see one side of it on the payment of the bills, but you don't get to see the incoming receipt side, so.
And just because I've not seen it before, what's Railroad Management Company? And it says SR, like an annual agreement. It's not much money. I just sort of,
So there is a, essentially, it's almost like an easement agreement with
Okay.
one of the railroads because of some utility placement outside of Junction. So when we took over their utilities many moons ago, apparently came along with it a easement agreement.
okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying our bills, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you. Next item is first reading of ordinance 2021 property tax rates. Madam Clerk, you're going to read that?
This is the first reading of ordinance number 2021, and ordinance establishing ad valorem tax rates for the fiscal year 2023 through 2024, and penalties for non-payment.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Compton, you want to make a few comments before I go for a motion?
Yes. So each year, the city will update its property tax rate, also called its ad valorem tax rate. There are three categories that we update: the real property, personal property, and motor vehicles. They have each have their individual rates. And as you may or may not remember, during our budget season, we proposed using the compensating rate. And what that is, it essentially generates a same level of revenue based on current assessments as the level of revenue that we collected for the last year. So in practice, what that does is it changes the rate to account for the dollar amount of revenue. So in what will happen for this year, assuming you approve this, is that other than the motor vehicle rate, which is capped at a certain amount, the personal property and real property rates will go down slightly because of those assessed values changing, which for a lot of people have increased this year. There is it does account for new growth, which is separated out a little bit, but based on using the compensating rate, we're calculating a tax rate for real property at 0.124 cents per $100, and personal property at 0.1706 cents per personal property, and 0.2 per 100 for motor vehicles. And in the total, that'll give you a revenue of $1.9 million for real estate and personal property.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioners, what's your pleasure? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2021.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Caudle,
Yes.
Commissioner Peak,
Yes.
Mayor Atkins.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Holland.
Yes.
Next item, Resolution 2308-1402, the Lebanon Road Sewer Phase 1. Mr. Carrier, you have the next three items. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This agenda item is in regards to change order number 2 for the Lebanon Road Clark's Run Phase 1 sanitary sewer project. This is the sewer project along Lebanon Road that we're about to close out. This change order is just for additional work to account for existing sewer services to LSC Communications up on the hill. There's some loose ends that need to be tied up and a couple of manholes that need to be installed to account for their sewer effluent.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Total net increase of $49,100. So previous contract price was $2,288,690. So the $49,100 brings it to $2,337,790 total.
Okay. And is this change order number 1 or change order number 2?
It's 2. That was in the agenda title. That was a typo on my part.
Okay,
I
all right.
apologize.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I'll move to approve Resolution 2023-081402.
Thank you, ma'am. Second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item, Mr. Courier, is 08-1403 Percival Road.
Thank you, Mayor. The Municipal Utilities Department, we recently advertised for the construction of the Danville's portion of the 12-inch water line install project. So based on the memo that was provided years ago, we entered into a wholesale agreement with the city of Springfield. per that wholesale agreement, we were in agreement to install approximately 22,000 linear feet on behalf of the city of Danville. And then the remainder out of 43,000 approximately was going to be installed by Springfield Water and Sewer Commission. They started their portion already just west of Perryville, and this is going to be Danville's portion per the agreement. This is going to include 22,000 linear feet of 12-inch water main from that existing tank that we've recently completed at Tuggle Road, west through Perryville. And it'll include new hydrants along downtown Perryville and along First Street. It'll connect to the ongoing Springfield Waterline project just to the east of Springfield. So we received 4 bids, pretty wide range of bids on this project. We received 4 bids total, ranging from $2.3 million to $4,931,594. So the low bid on the contract on this particular advertisement was Hubert Construction at $2.3 million, and we recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments from the commission?
I'm just glad we got a lot of bids. I'm shocked that, some are double, more than double.
Yeah, and we've seen that on a few other projects. We get a lot of interest, but it's a pretty wide range of bids. So, we appreciate the low bid on this project. I think the next bid was substantially more than the low bid. So, and actually the company Hubert Construction has previously done waterline work along the corridor itself. So, and all the customers and the property owners seem to be satisfied with the product. So,
Great. Thank you.
That was the next question, coming in so low. You answered that. That's good. Any other questions or comments? Chair would like to entertain a motion.
Move for approval of resolution 2023-081403.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you. Resolution passes. Mr. Courier, you have the next item as well.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is in relation to a previous agenda item I've recently brought to the commission. The LIWAP, the Low Income Housing Water Assistance Program. If you recall, just recently I brought the revised vendor agreement. This is just a MOU on behalf of the city to initiate that same process. So it's pretty self-explanatory. The LIWAP program restarted on July 25th, 2023. So it issued new guidance for water and sewer providers that offers additional services. For example, trash and electric too. So it's good to get this program restarted.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the commission? Is there a motion from the commission?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll move to approve resolution 2023-081404.
Thank you, ma'am. And second by Ms.
Second.
Peak. All right, thank you, ma'am. All those in favor of passing this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution carries. Thank you, Mr. Courier.
Thank you.
Then Josh.
Yes, thank you all.
See how smooth Mr. Courier was tonight?
Yeah,
He
this
set
is
the
a
bar
rare.
high.
This is a rare meeting where I'm not asking you all to spend any money. So we'll do this
He
pretty
set the
quick.
bar high for you, didn't he? Okay, Josh, you have the next three.
So this first item is, we recommended to move forward with this earlier in the year. This is our agreement with KYTC to participate in their municipal road aid co-op, which means our checks for our municipal aid money don't come from the state treasurer. They come through KYTC, and we participate in a program where if we are in need of emergency funds, they're available to us. I think also for us as staff, it's kind of regulated when we get these checks and how much the checks are for. It's a known thing that we know that ahead of time. And this kind of got a little bit lost in the mail, and I got a voicemail today that said our $200,000 check is just waiting on this agreement to come in. So we're going to get this approved tonight and get it on up to them so we can get our money. So all this does is allows us to participate in that program with KYTC, and we will have access to that emergency fund. So.
Thank you, sir.
And we would,
Commissioners?
oh, sorry. We would have, so we would have earlier access to the money.
Yes. So previously, when we didn't participate in this program, we would get a monthly check for gas tax money. And we wouldn't know what that was going to be. It would just show up, at random times and random amounts, and it was kind of difficult to track from a financial standpoint. Kind of get lost in the mix sometimes. So, we sign up for this, they estimate our amount at the beginning of the year, and in August we get 60%, and then in February we get I think it's 30%, and then we get the remainder at the end of the year. Once they know what our exact amount is, they reconcile that with the last payment. So it's cleaned things up a lot better for us. And like you said, we get 60% of our money at the beginning of the year instead of it trickling in throughout the year.
That's great. Other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-08-1405.
Thank you, ma'am.
Second.
Thank you, sir. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, resolution passes. Josh, the next one is yours as well.
Yes, in your package, you have an updated schedule for the Jenny Rogers Phase 1 project. Now that we've made it through a lot of the unknown conditions and resolved those situations with previous change orders, I asked the contractor to prepare an updated schedule. I know it's kind of it's just a construction schedule on a Gantt chart, so it's kind of hard to read, but the one date that's important is towards the top, substantial completion, December 14th. So we are going to set the new completion date for the project at that date, December 14th. And that way we'll try to hold them to that date, and that gives us all a target. We've communicated to the county schools about this situation. They're aware of it. They're still trying to shoot for the beginning of the school semester in January to open, but that's, this is getting us pretty close to that date. So we're going to try to stay, if not at this date, ahead of schedule. Good news is a lot of these issues we were working through allowed a lot of the equipment and materials that would have long lead times, they're already getting here. So there shouldn't be any situations with material lead times that should hold us up towards the end. So we should be in a situation where we can push forward pretty fast and get this project done. So that's what we're asking for with this change order, is just an extension to the time to December 14th, 2023.
Any questions, comments from the commission? Is there a motion from the commission?
I'll move to approve Resolution 2023-08-1406.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, call for the question. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Josh, your last one, your third one, okay?
Yes, we received bids for the Hilldale Committal Shelter on August 3rd. We only received one bid from Tecton Construction out of Lexington in the amount of $96,990, which is substantially higher than our estimated cost. We met with them last week to go over the bid, myself and John Carmen, our consultant on the project. It didn't seem to be one particular item. It seemed to just be everything was higher than we were estimating. So, and it's hard with one bid to know if that's what things are going to cost. And especially in this bidding climate, like you saw with Marshall's bid earlier, there's, I don't know if this is the $2.3 million bid or if it's the $4.9 million bid. So we would like to reject this bid and put it back out for bids again. I'm going to make a bigger effort to get some of our local contractors to get involved, because this is not a huge project. I feel like we can get some local companies involved. So I'm going to we're going to try to advertise it again this coming weekend, and I'm going to make some phone calls and try to get some more interest in it. So we would recommend rejection of this bid.
Could you tell us what we have budgeted for this project?
We were estimating $150,000, so it's much higher, which I think is. I would be seeing this now. I'd be surprised if we get bids down in that range. We're going to try to make a few scope changes, knowing this, seeing this number. I don't think we're going to bring this bid down to that range, but if we make a few scope changes, hopefully we can get it down closer. It's just it's a really tough bidding environment right now to estimate. And we could change a few things and rebid it, and some certain materials suddenly drop significantly, and we get a lot better prices. So we're just going to. We would like to get this project done, of course, but we also don't have a hard deadline for this project either. It's more important that we get it right and we make it affordable for the community. Because we like, like we've talked about, we'd like to do another one at Bellevue in the spring. So I think this was more than our budget for 2 of them. I think when we just talked about budget earlier this year, so.
I agree with you. I thought this, okay, this was more than, okay. Well, we'd love to get them done, and love to get them done sometime spring of 2024, but man. So the motion we need is a motion to reject this bid and authorize staff to rebid the item.
And I forgot to add, cemetery committee met last week, and I told them about this bid, and they were in agreement that rejection of the bid is probably the proper thing to do, so.
Before we do the motion though, just another question. If we were to bid the 2 of them at the same time,
Right.
I wonder what kind of impact that would have on
There may be some, but I don't think it's gonna be on a scale that's gonna get us where we need to be. If we, I think you may see, you're really looking at saving on your mobilization, general conditions kind of costs, which are gonna be in the 10% range. So, I mean, if you were gonna do both, you may end up seeing a $20,000 to $30,000 savings. And we can kind of look into that and see if that's something we want to do. At this point, it was more of a capacity issue for us, doing 2 at one time, but.
Sure.
And disruption level. But I think if we can, I'll talk to our consultant about it a little bit more and see what he thinks. I think, and we can also talk to bidders. If we get a good bidder involved, we can have a discussion about it and see if there's, Stephen, that's probably a proper thing to do, is have a discussion of, hey, if we add another one, what's that savings look like to us, so.
How many, why do you think we only had 1 bidder? Because I saw the picture hasn't changed, or it wasn't an enclosed building.
It's 8 columns with the roof on it.
It's 8 columns with the roof, so I don't understand.
There's a wall in the back that kind of adds a backdrop that we put columbarium niches on the back, which we looked at that, but I hate to remove the columbariums because that's our one source of revenue with the building. We could,
Right.
if we sell those columbarium niches, we can get most of our expense towards that back. So that's not really what I would remove if I was going to remove something. So, and then you're just putting masonry back where the columbarium niches were, so you're paying for that. So yeah, it's a very simple project. And the contract that bid it, was, well, the concrete mix we were using was we did a historic mix, so it wasn't bright white concrete the first day. And they're like, well, that's a premium you're paying. That's probably a $5,000 premium, which is not a $200,000. So it was a lot of things like that. We could maybe make some small tweaks to bring small increments down, but it was not a real ambitious project. So we're gonna see what we can do to try to get these bids down.
Thank you, sir. All right, we need a motion to agree with staff, or to inform staff to reject this bid.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-08-1407.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions or comments?
You're gonna rebid soon, like
Yes,
next weekend?
we're gonna put it in the paper Saturday. This is
Okay.
coming Saturday. So
Okay, and reach out to maybe some vendors.
yeah, some
Thank you.
local companies. Yeah.
All those in favor of passing this resolution to reject this bid, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you all. Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am, for waiting so patiently, Ms. Hafley. You're next on the agenda, and you just have 1 item.
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I am in front of you this evening for a 3-year contract with Thomas Shelby and Company. It's a chair contract. It's for 3 years for 8 24/7 chairs in the amount of $12,983.04, and that is a 2% discount if paid up front and not like a yearly or quarterly cost. We did this 3 years ago, and I've been very pleased with it. We get new chairs every October. I just had one arm that kind of quit latching, and I just email them, they send me a new arm.
For those who are watching, I want describe to us a 24/7 chair.
A 24/7 chair has better like cushioning because it's used 24/7.
Yes, ma'am.
It has more wheels, like at the bottom where normally you see like 6, it's got 8. The hydraulics and everything like that, we're pretty hard on chairs because we use them so often. And that's been one of, in my almost 25-year career, it seems like we go through chairs more than anything because they're just used all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you
So
do with
it's
the
just-
old chairs?
They
Current chairs?
they take them. They switch them out every
Oh, they
year.
just switch them out?
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, we don't.
You don't surplus them or?
No.
any of that stuff? Okay.
The last ones we had before the 3-year contract 3 years ago, we've moved 2 to the backup center. I think IT's taken a few.
Gotcha.
So they were refurbished and reused.
Okay.
It is a 3-year contract, yes. And then we get new chairs delivered every October, and they take the old ones and they're either brand new or they're like refurbished. But again, if I ever have any issues, I contact them. They will bring a replacement. They're out of Ohio, I think, or they will mail the part as long as it's easy for me to do.
Repair. All right, thank you, ma'am. Commissioners, we're in need of a motion.
I will move for approval of Resolution 2023081408.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions or comments?
Thank you all.
If not, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. There's one other item for the agenda.
There is, Mayor. In lieu of having an executive session tonight, we do have one personnel matter that can be resolved in open session that involves the reclassification of an employee. And so Mr. Boyd is going to make that comment now, a recommendation to you for your vote. And with that, we will have no need for an executive session.
Mr. Boyd?
Well, thank you, Mayor, and it's very,
Yes,
it's
sir.
a short one tonight. So we just have a, reclassification request of Destiny Price. She currently holds the position of telecommunicator. We're requesting reclassification of that position at the employee's request to part-time position within the department. And staff is currently working actively to replace the position through the recruitment process.
So she's going from full-time to part-time,
Yes.
which creates a vacancy, which we'll have to advertise for. And so you want us to, so we're entertaining a motion then to approve her reclassification to a part-time employee.
Yes, sir.
Something she's asked for? Should I ask that? She's requesting this?
Well, I think at this time, since we are in open session, it is something staff is recommending that you reclassify. It meets the needs of the department at the current time and will allow a full-time position to be advertised for as well.
I'll make a motion to approve the request. Is that good
there-
enough, Stephen?
It is.
Is there
Second.
a second? All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of this reclassification? Say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right. Now, the chair would like to make a motion to go into executive session. Can I get a second?
No.
No.
You've waited for that for how many months, Mayor?
I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. I'm sorry. That just felt good.
I'll move to adjourn.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am.
And before you close that out, Mayor, I think just on behalf of staff, we'd like to thank you for your continued patience as we deal with the city manager's recuperation and continue just to remind you, rather, to continue to direct your communication in his absence, if it can't be directly communicated to him, to funnel that through the city clerk for proper administration, who will return to you. In the absence of the city manager, your main point of contact is the city clerk. That's a standard in our form of government. We're set up for it. Staff has been abundantly capable of filling in the gaps while the city manager is absent, and eagerly await his return. But until then, things keep on keeping on. Thank you.
He's going to really be impressed when he finds out we did not have an executive session. And then check out the time. The city manager's report, we lost We saved that whole 45 minutes, didn't we, right?
Yeah.
Did we vote to adjourn? We did? All right, well, thank you all, and thank you all for your attention.